my dear students. Hope you are safe wherever you are hearing my voice this morning. I am still your teacher in biology SS1. I welcome you into a new week. But before we go into today's topic, let's do a little revision on what we did last week. Last week, we talked about ecological concepts. We introduced the topic, and we begin by saying that ecology comes from the Greek word oikos. Comes from the Greek word oikos, which means dwelling place. And because of that, ecology is defined as the study of organisms at home, or the study of organisms at their dwelling place. And I told you last week that biologists defined ecology as the study of organisms in relation to their environment. The study of organisms in relation to their environment. Then last week we talked about organization levels in ecology. And I told us that the levels of organization in ecology is from cells, which is the smallest unit of an organism. Group of cells come together to give us the next level, tissue. Collection of many tissues gives us organs. And when organs find themselves together, they form what we call organ system. From organ system, they join themselves to form the whole multicellular organism. That is from the smallest to the largest. Then I now told us that there are levels of organization in ecology. That it is as follows: from population, which is the smallest, to community, from community to ecosystem, from ecosystem to biosphere, which is the earth. Then last week again, we talked about terms associated with ecology. We talked about the environment of an organism, which consists of all the factors found in the surrounding of an organism. Environment means all the factors which affect an organism in its surrounding. And we say that such factors may include the place where the organism lives, the food, water, and air that the organism takes in for its activities. It may include animals that prey on it or predators, and diseases that affect the organism where it lives. We now talk about the second term, habitat, which means the place where an organism lives. And it may be aquatic habitat. Aquatic habitat includes puddles, ponds, freshwater streams, flooded area, and a lot. It may be terrestrial habitat, which may be bush or farmland. It may be rainforest or desert. It may be also an arboreal habitat, which can be either a tree trunk or tree tops. From there, we talk about ecological niche. I told us last week that a niche is not only the dwelling place of an organism, but the role the organism plays there. Ecological niche means the dwelling place of an organism and the role organism plays there, or what the organism does at that place it lives. I use a caterpillar and aphid which have the same ecological need, which lives together, but they have different ecological needs. I told us that caterpillar lives mainly on the leaves and feeds on them, but an aphid lives on the young shoot and sucks out from it. You see that they have different roles. We now talk about population, which means all organisms of the same kind living together in the same habitat. A population is all organisms of the same kind living together in a habitat. For example, a mango tree in the school compound. We also can see tilapia fish in a stream. A swarm of bees on a tree are all populations. We now talk about community, and we say that the community is made up of all the population of living organisms that exist together in a habitat. From there, we move into the biosphere, which is the earth. The biosphere, I said that it is made up of the earth. And we know that the earth is made up of 3 layers. We have the atmosphere, that is enveloping layer of air. Number 2, the hydrosphere, parts of the earth that is composed of water. We now talk about the lithosphere, the solid part of the earth. The biosphere includes the parts of the atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere where life can be found. It is the largest and highest level of biological organization and is composed of various ecosystems. Yes, last week we talked a little about ecosystem. I told us that an ecosystem is a self-supporting unit which is made up of the living and the non-living environment, or the living and non-living parts. And we say that the living part of the ecosystem is called the biotic component. Biotic component, the living part. And this biotic component may include population of food producers. You know the food producers: autotroph, green plants, chemosynthetic bacteria, protophyta, etc. Then it may be food consumers like the heterotrophs, which can either be animals, protozoa, and some bacteria. It may be also decomposers like fungi, that is saprophytes, are decomposers like fungi and some bacteria. Then let's now look at abiotic component of the ecosystem, the non-living part. The non-living part, which includes, that is what the organism needs in that environment in order to survive. Something like the source of energy, like the sunlight. We have the temperature, rainfall, humidity, water currents, wind, turbidity, and all the rest. All this made up of the abiotic conditions or the abiotic environment. Then we are going to look at the biomes of the world. We start from the local biome and we touch the biomes of the world. Let's now go with the definition of what a biome is. Even before my definition, if you pay attention, I have touched it one way or the other. Biomes are large natural terrestrial vegetation. Biomes are large natural terrestrial vegetation. Terrestrial, not aquatic. It's not aquatic, it's not arboreal. So biomes are large natural terrestrial ecosystems. And we identify a biome by its vegetation. Biomes are large natural terrestrial ecosystems. biomes are large natural terrestrial ecosystem, and we identify biome by its vegetation. This is because plants form bulk of the community in any ecosystem. For example, a forest biome has densely packed tall trees, wild grasses, and few scattered shrubs are found in the savanna biome. The type of vegetation in a biome is largely determined by climatic factors. Yes, before we talk about the biome of a particular vegetation, it is usually affected by its climatic condition or factors like rainfall and temperature. Rainfall and the temperature of a place explain the type of biome or the type of vegetation that place will have. Regions throughout the world which have similar climate have similar biomes. This causes zones of different biomes to occur from equator to the Arctic and to the Antarctic circle of the earth. Yes, if you get a map of the earth, we know that the earth is made up of about 7 continents. All these continents have different biomes depending on the type of climatic factor, that is the climate of that very place, which is usually the climatic conditions, mainly rainfall and the temperature, characterizes the biome of the world. For example, in equatorial and tropical areas, by the time we draw the map and show you the equatorial and tropical forests of the world or a particular place. So, in equatorial and tropical areas, that is, these are type of biome. Where temperature is high all the year round, tropical forests occur. Yes, especially if you know these temperate and tropical areas. And these equatorial and tropical areas are usually characterized by, because the temperature is high there, and also rainfall is high throughout the year round, it makes the type of vegetation found there to be what? Densely populated with tall trees. You go there and see big trees, thick vegetations, because climate is usually affecting it. But if you go to temperate regions of the world, you see a different type of vegetation. And the type of trees or the forest you see differs from what you see in equatorial and the tropical forest. If you go to temperate regions, the type of vegetation you see is coniferous and deciduous forest. You see conifers, a type of trees called conifers. Deciduous trees are trees that mostly shed their leaves at a particular season of the year. Then, if you talk of another vegetation, another biome, like the cold Arctic regions of the world, you meet treeless plains. That is the region called the tundra. You don't see any trees. If you see any, it's very small, stunted trees with few grasses. This is because of what? The type of climate the environment has. So forests give way to tropical and temperate grassland when the annual rainfall is low. Yes, that's why we said that climatic factors, mostly rainfall and temperature, affects the world or the biome of a particular place. So if you go to areas with high rainfall and high temperature, the biome you see there is mostly temperate and tropical forest. But if you talk about the savanna regions, which have lower rainfall, you see grassland is characterized by grassland. The animal found there is different from the one found in the tropical and the equatorial regions. Then if you talk of desert regions, you know is where the rainfall is very low, between 200 millimeters and even below. which is made up of, you see, scarcely trees like the cacti, which have reduced pine to conserve water. And there is mostly of sand dunes, very hot temperature, but low rain. So we are going to look at the local biomes, and we will take Nigeria as an example of a local biome. Look at Nigeria and its vegetation. So Nigeria lies in the tropics just above the equator within latitude 10 degrees north and then 14 degrees north. Local biome. We now take Nigeria. And we said that Nigeria lies, that's if you go to the map. So you see, it's a country that lies in the tropics. That is where their temperature is usually high. Tropical regions are the hottest regions of the earth. Just above the equator. So any country that lies above the equator is mostly tropical areas. Just above the equator, that is at the center of the earth. Equator is at the center of the earth. Within latitude 10 degrees north and 14 degrees north. So assuming this is the earth. The earth is a globe. Assuming this is the earth. And any line that cuts the earth from the center is called the equator. And we'll talk about the lines of latitude. So if we talk about latitude 10 degrees to 14 degrees north, and this is the axis of the earth, and this is the north, and this is the south. So if you are locating latitude 10 degrees north at the equator is the center of the earth here. So at this latitude, 10 degrees north is where you get Nigeria. So I told us that major characteristics of the countries that are found just above the equator is they are countries with very high temperature, which is between 25 degrees centigrade and 32 degrees centigrade. Even above that, in dry season. In Nigeria, temperature exceeds that during the dry season. And because of where Nigeria is found, we have biomes. We have, number one, biome types of Nigeria. We have number one, the mangrove forest. Or the mangrove swamp. We have the tropical forest. Then number 2, we have the savanna regions. This savanna has many types. We have the Guinea savanna, the Sudan savanna, and the Sahel savanna. But let's begin with the mangrove. Mangrove swamps are found in tropics along the coastal regions. Along the coastal regions and river mouths in Nigeria. The mangrove forests or the mangrove swamps are found in tropics along coastal regions. That is, if you talk of the states that are in the coastal regions of Nigeria, you pick Rivers State, Port Harcourt, Lagos. These are the 2 states that are found at the mouth of the rivers. And the type of biome they have is a mangrove swamp. And also they are found in the delta regions. Delta regions like the Cross River State is also found there. The climate in mangrove swamp region is hot and wet throughout the year. It's hot and wet. What do we mean by hot? The temperature rises above 32 degrees centigrade, but the rainfall is almost throughout the year. There is no particular month that they say that is maybe that there will be no rain. It rains throughout the year round in those coastal regions. The total annual rainfall is heavy, usually above 2,500 millimeters. And the average monthly temperature is around 26 degrees centigrade for nearly all the months of the year. Mangrove swamps are forests of small, evergreen, broad trees growing in shallow, brackish water or wet soil. Many mangrove trees have pop-root and branching system. Yes, it is that this mangrove is a particular tree that grows there. That tree is a leafless tree which grows right inside the brackish water with breathing roots. With breathing roots. That's the characteristics. And the type of breathing roots they have is what we call the crop root. Crop root. Crop root. That's the type of root the mangrove trees have. Then after the mangrove biome, we meet the tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforest occurs in regions that lies between latitude 5 and 10 degrees north and south. The forest areas are mainly below lands, but they also extend up hilltops to a height of 600 or 900 meters. Like in Nigeria, if you talk of places you will get tropical forests, the states include Oyo, Delta, Imo, Cross River, Abia, Ogun, Ondo, Anambra, and so on. So these people lies in what we call the tropical rainforest biome, characterized by high temperature and a high rainfall. But here, rainfall is between 2,000 millimeters. You see that the people in the mangrove swamp has much rainfall because their own is above 2,500 mm. But here we have a slower rain, but not less than 2,000 mm all the year round. The characteristics of the biome is made up of many types of broadleaf trees that are mostly evergreen. Evergreen trees that is the trees that drop their leaves gradually throughout the year to replace them. It's not that like the deciduous forest that at a particular time they will shed all the leaves and the trees will remain without leaves until some time. No. This time, the type of tree you see is the trees that are evergreen. All the year round, the trees have leaves on it, shedding it all the time, and then new leaves growing. Then, we have the trees, the vegetation also have layers, 3 layers. You have the tree tops, which form a thick canopy that prevents sunlight from reaching the forest floor. Then we also have epiphyte plants growing on the woody climbers known as lianas, which are common features of this forest. That is, if you look at those big trees there, you see epiphytes. On top of those trees, you see some smaller plants growing on them again. And if you enter their forest, you see that the thick forest, if you enter inside, the forest floor is usually made up of no trees or usually shrubs, or you see the fallen leaves of the bigger trees with no vegetation, with no leaves there. So that is the characteristics of this particular region. So the forest floor is sparse. You see that very or no trees there, but the thick climbers are there on the forest. Examples are the epiphytic plants glowing there. And this region mostly produce the hardwoods of Nigeria. These days you see big trees, hardwood system, like if you go to Delta, Oyo, Edo, that has this type of vegetation or biome, Anambra, Abia, you see trees that are hardwood in nature. They produce the Nigerian timber forest. Then, from there we move to savanna regions. As I told you, savanna is mostly made up of grassland. Is the region of, or the biome of grassland, made up of three types. We have the people that, after the tropical forest, that savanna is called the Guinea savanna, where you see tall grasses. These people have rainfall, but lower than that of tropical forest. The rain must be up to 1,000 mm. I told you that the biome is characterized of grassland. Yes. And there, I said that in Nigeria, the first floor bordering the tropical forest is what we call the Guinea savanna, where we found some states like, we have the Benue State there, we have also the Plateau there, and there, some states like the Nasarawa, Oko, and the Guinea savanna. We have the Sahel, the Sudan savanna following the Guinea savanna. In Sudan savanna, we have states like Kano, some parts of Borno, Sokoto, Yobe, Adamawa, Bauchi, and even the final one is the Sahel savanna, which we found near Lake Chad. These are the Nigerian vegetation or biome. I told you that savanna region is characterized by little rainfall, between 200 mm to 500 mm. And temperature is very, very high, even above 40 degrees centigrade. Above 37, during dry season is above 40. So these are Nigerian biome. By next class, I will draw the map of Nigeria, locating these different biomes for you. Thank you for paying attention. God bless you and may you stay safe.